So Liverpool have won in Madrid. They have 3 wins out of 3 in this group and more or less into the knockout phase of the competition. But what a game that was in the Spanish capital this evening. I saw Klopp at the end. He wasn't too happy that Simeone ran away and down the tunnel and didn't shake his hand afterwards. There are the other results. Porto with their victory over Milan, and Liverpool 3 wins out of 3. They are top of the table. In 2 weeks' time, these two sides do it all again. Atletico travel to Anfield. Porto go to the San Siro. So Didi and Richie are here with me. What a game, Didi. Did Liverpool deserve to win it?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a very fortunate win. After a perfect start for 20 minutes, they looked like world beaters. And for 70 minutes, they looked like an average team. Just a team. And if you look at the whole game, I think Atletico had the better chances. I think the decisions, we come to them in a minute, went against Atletico. So they were both in... All 3 were in Liverpool's favour, and I think it's a very fortunate win. It shouldn't have been that close after the start they had. But I've got to say, I was very impressed with Atletico. That was brilliant. They've been successful. They got to Champions League finals in the past, but I've very rarely seen them play as well. We had a look at 116 passes only in the first half, but what they did with them passes, with them 116, was exceptional. They scored 2, could have had another 1 or 2. Very impressed by them tonight.
OK, there's a lot of talking points to get through, and we're going to go through them now. Let's start with the red card, Richie, the Griezmann red cards. Was this the right call by the referee?
In my view, yes. We've seen the replays now numerous times. Griezmann's foot is very, very high. He's not aware of what's behind him. He makes contact with Firmino's head, who goes down. The referee is no obstruction in his view. He can see what's going on. It's dangerous play. I think letter of the law, everything is met with there, and the ref responds correctly. I think Didi disagrees.
Doubt about that, is there?
Well, if we can see it again, he never looks at once. So all he does, he sees the ball coming over his head, sticks his leg, which happens 10, 15 times a game. It's unfortunate that Firmino is here, but there's no force. If you look at Griezmann, you know, he's making a step. He's not running 100 miles an hour. He sticks his leg up to control the ball. He doesn't even know Firmino is there. It's accidental. Is it dangerous? Yes, of course it's dangerous, but it's accidental. I think it's a very harsh decision.
But it's dangerous. The degree of force with which you kick an opponent's face isn't...
He didn't kick him, Richie. Because to a certain extent, Firmino runs into him. They come together.
But you can't do that.
But there's no force. There's no force at all. Well, it happens.
But again, force isn't a consideration
Richie,
of the referee.
It happens 15 times a game. 15
a player
times a game.
getting kicked in the face like that?
No, that a player takes a ball out of the air.
Have another look.
But not with an opponent's face in the way.
It's accidental. He doesn't even know he's there.
But that's not...
As much as Griezmann goes towards him, Firmino, you know, it's a coming together.
But intent isn't a figure here. It's dangerous. So you're saying it's accidental. I agree, because I don't think he looked at him and targeted his face, but he made contact with his face, which makes it dangerous. The fact that he didn't deliberately do it, I don't think is a factor that the referee can consider or should consider.
Well, OK, sure, OK.
You
can agree to disagree. The Hermoso one. Now, I think you will agree on this, the concession of this penalty. This was... crazy stuff from the defender.
It really was. I mean, because you think of the amount of work they were doing. I agree with Didi. They responded so well to being going down to 10 men. They got men behind. They made so difficult for Liverpool to create any space or opportunity.
He lines him up. He knows he wants to take him out.
He can see. And again, why a player in that moment would think that he would get away with it, or that there's going to be any other result other than the one that there was, beggars belief. And Salah, who didn't have his most impactful game, got the winner yet again. His scoring run continues. And Liverpool's brilliant run of scoring a minimum of 3 goals in every away goal game this season continues. It's their 7th game in a row.
This could have been undone by Jota. Now, the referee initially gave this penalty, and look, whether you like or don't like VAR, the drama for everybody, whoever you support, if you support either of these teams, you're looking at, you're on the edge of your seat. Now, this went Liverpool's way.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a soft call, but I think this is a call which has to stand with a call on the field, because we see one more replay from behind the goal. If you look at Jota, the way he runs, he doesn't run in a straight line. He's running towards the Atletico player. He's running towards Jimenez. And here you see it best here. He's running towards him and he puts his arm across. There's very little contact, but I think enough contact to give Jimenez the chance. I'm not even sure he would have got to the ball. He probably would have. I was very, very surprised that that was overturned, because when there's contact, and as I said, if he runs in a straight line, then he can say, well, he didn't make an effort to get across him or put him off. But he edges towards the Atletico player. And I was very surprised, and Simeone will surely touch on it in the press conference.
If he turns up for that, because he didn't want to shake hands with Klopp at the end. The fact that the referee's decision was overturned, look, we've VAR officials who look at this stuff every day of the week. Jimenez, he made sure the referee saw him go to ground. The arm went up in the air. That played against him, I would think, did it?
Possibly. It's difficult to know the thought process of the VAR officials, because nothing is communicated. Sure. Obviously, that's a point we've all made from the start. But I equally, like Didi, I was very surprised it was overturned, because once the referee gives it, like the VAR, it's got to be an obvious error that he's missed, and I don't think the footage there you could look at that and say, well, that's an obvious error. I think it was a correct decision from the referee. Really, really surprised it was this.
I think that's one thing we see with VAR now. You say, if he goes down theatrically, it counts against him. If he doesn't go down at all, it doesn't even get looked. He probably doesn't get the penalty call, and he probably doesn't even get looked at. So I think we see more and more players, when there's little contact or bit of contact, to go down to let the referee know and the video assistant know there was contact. Have a look at it.
Yeah, OK. We were looking during the second half at, and I suppose we've seen this from many teams, not just Simeone when he's been in charge of Atletico. And this piece is just called the dark arts. Now, ultimately, Atletico's dark arts did not work. But there's a selection of stuff here that, look, they do routinely. Some people like it, others don't.
No, and they, as I said before the game, they do play the game, and the game management, do we like to see this? I'm not too sure. Trippier gets and forearm in the chest. He goes down, holds his face. Then again here, De Paul goes down. I don't think there's any contact at all. He goes down like he's been kicked. Look at this. Don't think he even touches him, Milner. And this is something they do as well as anybody. Obviously they didn't do it after they went 2-0 down or the 3. Look at the reaction here. 4 or 5. They make sure Alexander-Arnold gets booked here. This is too dark art here, because the referee obviously clearly spotted it. And then Oblak again, he wants to touch the ball again. Salah had to wait an awful long time to take his penalty. Unfortunately for Liverpool, he didn't put him off, and he put it in. And he gets them going in. But they played some wonderful football as well. So if they mix it up, and sometimes I think we reduce them just to be that team that tries to disturb teams and other teams and annoy them. But tonight, they play good football as well.
But I think when they did go down to 10, I can't think of another team in this competition that are better suited and better coached and have the personality and the coach to deal with a scenario where you have to manage the game and disrupt the flow of the opposition, disrupt them getting any kind of momentum. Sometimes you use the phrase that a team is playing to mirror the personality of the coach. The whole stadium did. They made it as hostile and as loud and as intimidating as possible.
He has that incredible connection with the supporters in Madrid.